Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
Today we're talking about Real Housewives of Orange County, season 18, episode number 6.
Wow, episode 6 already?
I know, it's going fast, right?
It is going fast. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get more than 13 like Jersey.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope so
but
too.
I'm surprised that there's been 6 already.
So we start out with Heather and Emily, and they meet up and they're talking about the night before, which was Gina's party. And, Heather says, look, you were really kind of hard on Jen. And Emily says, listen, it's not all about the money, but when she's owing people money and she's, rolling up with a Rolex, which, by the way, doesn't even work because I asked her what time it was.
Did you see Jen's response to that?
No. Where did she
Jen
respond?
responded on Instagram, and I forget technically what she wrote, but something like Rolexes, you have to wind them up.
Okay.
So hers wasn't wound up at the time, and that's why the time wasn't. I mean, I don't have a Rolex.
Right.
But, I was thinking about this. I think that Emily's coming in too hard. I don't know why she cares so much. And listen, I have a beautiful engagement ring. Doesn't fit me right now because I'm overweight. But, I could sell that and pay some bills, but I'm not gonna.
Right.
Like, just because you have something of worth doesn't mean you need to sell it because, I mean, obviously this is a different situation. She owes back rent and car payments, and it's different. I have,
Yeah.
a couple little credit cards, but I'm just saying, I just feel like Emily, and I love Emily, but I just think she's coming in a little strong. And don't tell somebody else what to do with their stuff.
I agree 100%. She doesn't need to go so hard on Jen about the money.
No.
Then Heather shares with Emily that she still feels let down by Gina about Gina not having her back with the whole Katie situation and the paparazzi. I cannot wait till we get to an episode where we don't mention the word paparazzi.
I have it written down. I'm so over the paparazzi story. It's stupid.
It is so stupid.
And you know what, Heather? You're on a show. So maybe you are the most sensitive. Your feelings shouldn't be that hurt. You're on a show. You know what went down.
I agree. And then we see Tamara and Jenn. They go to the beach and they're talking about Emily, talking about her paying the bills. Emily also admits that she had too many espresso martinis. Yeah. And Tamara says that Shannon acts like a victim all the time. And where did I hear Shannon? I've heard Shannon on so many podcasts lately, and I can't remember which one. But listen, I am Team Shannon all the way. Mm-hmm. I do not think she acts like a victim. Mm-hmm. I think Alexis Bellino is a bully. Mm-hmm. And she's thirsty AF. Mm-hmm. And same for John Jansen.
Yes. I agree with all that.
Okay.
And Tamara said she goes hard because she cares. No.
No.
You go hard because you're on a show.
Right.
And you are so desperate to keep that spot because you got fired once and you will get fired again.
Yep. Then we see Gina and Katie meet up, and Katie admits that she's hungover from last night. I didn't even know that she had drank. Like, she didn't appear to me, but I guess we didn't really see her interact that much.
We didn't see a lot of that dinner other than the
Heather
between
the Shannon and the Tamara
and Vicky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we didn't even see the Rolex conversation until this episode.
Right. And Katie says she still feels let down by Gina about the Heather situation. So Heather feels let down about it. Katie feels let down about it. And honestly, I really don't think Gina did anything that was so horrible. I really don't. I don't really think that either one of them should be let down. I think she tried. She told Katie not to say anything.
Right.
Now Katie's saying that she didn't tell me till a couple months later. And then now Emily's jumping on that bandwagon that Katie said that. And it's like, again, who cares?
Stupid.
It is about a paparazzi picture.
And by the way, they all do it. So
right.
They all do it. Lisa Vanderpump was doing that back in the day. Like, nobody really cares that much, Heather. This is one of the things I struggle with Heather. She wants to put this persona out there of who she thinks people want her to be. Just be yourself. Like,
right.
Maybe you don't want to admit that you call the paparazzi, but continuously talking about how Gina let you down, you're continuing to bring light to it. Let it go. End
Yeah.
it. Just end it.
I agree. I'm so over it. The only thing I can think of is at the end, I'm jumping to this just because it's kind of relevant. At the end, when Heather starts crying about it with Gina again, she says, listen, you know, this affects these rumors affect my children. So the whole paparazzi story started because there was rumors that Terry was cheating on Heather.
Right.
So in order for them to put those rumors to rest, they called the paparazzi to take the picture of them at Disney looking happy that there's no cheating rumors going on. So then when they're accused of doing that, it goes back to what started it to begin with, which was the rumors that Terry was cheating on.
But Gina's not responsible for those rumors.
I 100% agree.
And
but then
Katie's not responsible for debunking those rumors. Like,
right.
I think that's a reach.
And that's exactly what Heather was doing, because then she's saying to Gina, remember how upset you were when Shannon Medore said that, you know, CPS was going to take your children? And, you know, even in her confessional, Gina's like, I think those are two totally different things.
100%.
And
not even close.
Right. And I feel bad for Gina because she's really trying. I mean, she's trying to appease everybody. And I personally don't think she's doing anything wrong. I don't.
No. And I think that Heather is such a self-centered person. She actually probably in her head thinks that this is comparable to what Gina said, her children, even though the rest of the world would not, because that's crazy talk.
Right.
Not even close. Apples and oranges.
Even if you think about it, at the end, when they were having this conversation, Emily was trying to talk to Gina because she was upset, and Heather hijacked that whole conversation.
I literally have those words written down. Heather hijacked that conversation.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I know it's at the end, but you know, we're kind of talking about the same situation. Yeah. So it's like Emily was trying to talk to her best friend, Gina, because she had just heard something from Shannon, and you could see she was visibly upset.
Entire demeanor changed.
Yep. And Heather jumps in and hijacks the whole conversation. Again, like you said, like making it all about her, that hers is so important. I mean, if I hear from her about this one more time, since she broke down and cried at the end, and she said that she was going to let it go, if she doesn't let it go, I'm going to be done, because I'm done with it already.
Yeah, like enough.
Right.
Enough.
Right. We don't need to hear about it anymore.
No. Good. We're all set.
Okay, good. Then Shannon shows up and says that she didn't sleep last night, and she tells them about the letter that she received about the lawsuit.
Oh, yeah.
And she says she's telling this to Gina and Katie, and how she really feels hurt by Tamara. Now, she didn't tell them about the letter. She only told Vicky about it, but then it got brought up by Alexis at the dinner the night before.
Yeah.
And listen, Tamara was coming hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
Tamara has no compassion. Tamara is not doing it to help her. She's not being a good friend. She's being evil and vindictive. The fact that she keeps calling her an alcoholic is ridiculous.
Did you hear I forget which one is in recovery, but the Brav Bros. Steele's
in recovery. Yep.
His response to this was like, this is a journey. And he's like, I'm not saying Shannon's an alcoholic, but when you come to come to Jesus moment that you need to stop drinking or stop using whatever it is, your DOC, it's a journey, and you stumble, it's ebbs, it's flows. Like Tamara needs to shut up. And he said, how about you talk about your own alcohol issues, Tamara? And he's right.
Mm-hmm.
She's a sloppy ass drunk, Tamara.
Yes, she is.
Sloppy and nasty.
Mm-hmm. And she's nasty when she's sober, too. Yeah.
She's not making any friends with anybody who's in recovery right now, the way she's behaving.
No, I agree. And then we see Gina invites Shannon and Katie to La Quinta, and Katie says she's already going to Big Bear with Tamara. And we find out that, let's see. So then Shannon says, I guess Alexis will be there. So it's Emily, Shannon, Heather, and Gina are all going to La Quinta.
So none of them were invited to Big Bear, basically. I mean, I'm sure the producers,
Yeah, I mean, it was a good split up, the way they split it up, right?
Yeah, I would have went to La Quinta.
Yeah, me too.
That house was gorgeous.
Yes.
I know, we'll get there.
No, we're pretty much there. I mean, they get in the cars and they're driving up, and Shane says to Emily, "Don't eat in the car." And she gets out in the driveway and she's yelling to Gina,
Alexis.
"Don't,
Oh yeah, Gina.
don't eat in the car. I'm just saying it so Shane can hear me."
So funny. I have it written down. Is Shane watching this episode right now with everybody eating in the car?
He knows her. He must know her.
Absolutely.
He must know her. And then they go to the drive-thru at Jack in the Box. And then they're all eating in the car.
It's so funny. But before that, when Heather and Emily were in the store together, and Emily's like, "I still got my makeup on from last night."
Yeah.
I could not believe that, because from I mean, I know they all have filters on these TVs, but or on these cameras, but her skin looks so good. You know how I am. I take my makeup off when I wear it every night. I would stumble in from Seaside at 3 a.m. drunk off my ass in my early 20s, and I would take my makeup off and put my eye cream on.
Okay, Heather.
And my moisturizer.
You're Heather. You're Heather Dubrow. Because that's what Heather's saying.
I couldn't believe that Emily said I still I'm like, oh my God. I'm sure she doesn't do it every night.
No, I'm sure she doesn't either. But that's
holy shit. That floored me.
Yeah. And then when they get over to Shannon's house to pick her up, and she's got the big crock pot full of chili, and then Heather says she's bringing a charcoal grill. I was like, what are they doing?
She's like, we don't want to dirty the grill with the house you're supposed to be trying to sell.
Yeah. And as soon as Gina gets in the car, and she's like, I really shouldn't have done this. Like, I put all this work into staging this house. This is a really big deal for me. You know, the house is almost $9 million, and now I've invited these women.
Gorgeous house.
Yeah, I've invited these women.
House. Yeah.
Alexis spends the whole ride up talking about John Jansen.
Didn't shut up. I mean, thank God I wasn't in the car, but
from
what I could tell, she didn't shut up about him. I don't think she shuts up to begin with. Remember her first season when Vicky went, when she was talking at the dinner table, like that? They all should have done that in that car ride, by the way. She goes on and on about nonsense. Like, talk about a narcissist.
Yeah.
Nobody cares, Alexis.
I know.
You're off the show after this. I'm convinced she's not coming back.
I hope so. I hope that's the case, because I can't stand her. And
somebody said on Instagram, you brought Alexis back on to go after Shannon. How about next season we get Gretchen back on to go after Tamara? And I thought, now that's a plan. If that's the case, you can keep Alexis on.
Well, Andy did ask Tamara on Watch What Happens Live, what do you think about Gretchen coming back?
He did?
Yes.
I don't watch What Happens Live when Tamara's on.
Yeah.
He nauseates me.
Yeah, he did say that. She's like, bring it.
Oh, I would love it, because I think that, you know how I feel. I think that Tamara befriended Gretchen to get her off the show. I really think that.
Oh,
and I think Gretchen knows it.
That's where I heard it. So Shannon, now it just hit me. Shannon Bedore was on Sheena Shea's Shenanigans. And Sheena is actually friends with Gretchen.
Okay.
They've been friends for a very long time. It was her first Bravo friend. And she was talking to Shannon, and she's totally team Shannon. And she's like, what do you think? And Shannon's like, yeah, I think that would be great. Like, bring Gretchen on.
Yeah.
I agree.
Think that would be great.
I think that would be great too.
I did see a poll results on Instagram today where people asked, Andy asked, whose side are you on, Shannon or Tamara? And Shannon won by a landslide.
Oh, yes. Yes, she did. And Shannon also revealed on Sheena's podcast at BravoCon, when all the OC ladies were up there, when Vicky was getting that Lifetime Housewife Award or whatever it was, Alexis said, I think I'm the only one up here who hasn't slept with Slade. And Sheena laughed at it at first because she thought that that's what was on the teleprompter. But Shannon confirmed that was not on the teleprompter. Alexis was really upset about it.
Gretchen was upset?
Gretchen was really upset about what Alexis said.
Was Gretchen there too?
Yes, she was up there too. She just went rogue, to slam her. For what? Who? Why?
That's what I mean. Bring her back, Bravo.
Right.
Bring her back.
Right.
and let her go after her and Tamara. Because I think Gretchen knows everything now. And I think Gretchen will come in hard. And hopefully she's got Shannon and Vicky to back her up.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, one of the questions on Watch What Happens Live was, do you think that Tamara and Shannon will be friends again? And Tamara said no. And
I hope not for Shannon's sake.
Shannon, I don't think she'll be friends with her again. There's no reason for it. There's really
Nope.
not after everything she's done to her.
No way. And said?
Yeah. It's just mean stuff.
Nasty. Yeah.
Mean girl stuff.
Yep. Nasty, nasty.
Did you notice when they got up to the house in Big Bear, when they all went to their rooms, they had the bags that said Gals Weekend? It was the same bag as our We Wine Whenever bag.
I did notice that.
I was like, oh,
that's our bag.
Us.
They did. Tamara. Copycat Tamara.
Yeah, exactly. And then Tamara's, showing them the house and how they did they redid the whole house. And all of a sudden there's a leak.
Oh my God. There was a leak. That was awful. I felt bad about that.
Yeah, I did too. And then we see Gina's crew. They pull up to Elizabeth Vargas's house.
I was like Elizabeth.
I did too. I listen, I don't know why they got rid of her. I guess she didn't have enough going on.
I guess not. And I feel like she got a bad rap that season that she was on because, she's going through her divorce. She has the boyfriend, even though he was a little eccentric. He was a little, whatever you want to call it. Their sex life for some reason becomes a storyline. And of course she can't admit that she's having sex with him. She's going through her divorce with like a billionaire.
Right.
Like she can't admit to that. So it was I feel like she got a raw deal her first season.
She did. And if I'm not mistaken, that boyfriend wound up like holding her hostage or something. Oh yeah. No, it was,
I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah. No, it was a big deal. Yeah. He was like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. He like went off the rails. Yep.
Well, hopefully she wasn't having sex with him. But the house was beautiful. So
yes.
I hope Gina sells it. Makes a lot of money.
I hope she does too. I guess we could probably check and see if it did get sold because this is probably a year ago now at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then back at Big Bear, the ladies are getting ready to go tubing, and Jen says she thinks that she has 2 left feet for her boots. And then the ladies are like, well, they're moon boots. There's, they're not different feet.
No designated foot, which I didn't know, but I'm not a skier. Or,
right.
So
but then Tamara has to say in her confessional, like, why would I take her skiing? She doesn't even know like what her right and her left foot is. Like, why does she have to say that?
She's stupid.
Like, why do you have to say that?
That's because that's Tamara's gig. She's just going to talk shit on everyone because she has nothing going on in her life. She brings nothing to the show except her snarky one-liners, which are nasty because Emily has them and they're funny.
Right.
Tamara's just nasty and mean and insulting.
She is. I agree. And then we go back to the other house and Emily and Heather are trying to figure out the charcoal grill and they're reading the directions, the lighter fluid.
And there's an overhang over them. I'm like, oh my God.
I know. And then Gina gets the girls' trip sweatshirts and they all take off their shirts and change in the kitchen. And Shannon's looks at them like, oh, we're doing this? So she
right now?
Right. So everyone changes hers. And then all of a sudden, Heather winds up dropping the drink on the floor.
So many things spilled.
Oh, it was
so many things spilled.
So bad.
On that rug.
It was so bad.
Holy cow.
And she just like, oh my God, what am I doing? I think Heather hates me. Like, what is going on? And then Emily's like, okay. And then she spills it. Oh my God.
Oh my God. That was so bad. That was so bad. I was low key hoping Alexis would flip in that tube.
That would have been nice.
Were doing, tubing?
They were tubing. Then we go back to the Big Bear girls' house and the girls are getting ready. And of course, Alexis is taking the longest. She's so
annoying.
She really is. She comes down the stairs and Tamara's like, you're going to be freezing. And she's like, oh, is what I have on okay? And she's looking for the girls. Meanwhile, they're standing right there, which is like,
talk about not being able to see past yourself.
Right. Exactly.
Like literally.
Exactly.
Holy cow.
And then she has to FaceTime John before they leave. Come on.
And Tamara's like, hi, John. Wow, you look great. Fuck you, Tamara.
Yeah. Then go back to the other house, and Gina goes to put the hot dogs on the grill, and Heather's like, well, don't you have to slice them first? And Gina's like, well, no, when they pop, that's when they're done, I think.
Yeah.
And Heather's like, well, you're asking me? Like, as if she doesn't cook hot dogs, but they're her favorite food.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
So then Shannon's talking to Emily, and they agree that they're both in a good place. And then Shannon tells Emily that Gina said that she thought that she was up Tamara's ass, and she's becoming more like a mean girl
I
now
don't
that
think
she's
Shannon
friends.
should have done that.
No, she should not have. And I honestly, I think she regretted it as soon as she walked back in the kitchen and she saw Emily's reaction.
Because her whole demeanor changed. Like,
Yes.
Emily's fun when Emily's with her people and having a cocktail, and
Yep.
she's fun. Her whole demeanor changed.
Yes. Yes. It did. It really did change. And so they go outside and they try to eat. And, then Emily starts the conversation, and then Heather hijacks it.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't even get her resolution. She didn't get to have her conversation with Gina because
No.
Heather hijacked that conversation.
And she said it, right, in her confessional, Emily.
Yes, she did. Yeah.
So hopefully she and Gina can have a separate conversation where Heather is not around and they can actually come to some kind of resolution.
Yeah. I mean, after Heather says, I'm going to believe you and try and move past this, Gina's like, I'm pissing everyone off. Like, Emily's pissed at me, Heather's pissed at me, and Shannon's like, well, I'm okay with you. And she's like, great.
Like, what a change in direction we have here.
And then back at the Big Bear house, the ladies are going to the Italian restaurant. And then Katie makes this crazy comment that says, if I drink sugar, I turn red. It's called Asian rash. Like,
I she's an Asian flush. Like, you get flushed in the face.
Oh, I didn't know.
You get red.
Red. Okay. I didn't know if she said rash or flush. So whatever it was, she was like explaining it to the ladies. And then in her confessional, she's like, I guess I don't know a lot of Asian people. What?
I mean, I had never heard of that.
I have not either.
I'm sure it's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, but listen, when I drink red wine, I get flush.
Yeah.
And it's because of something that's in it. It's not,
right.
There's something in it that I'm allergic to.
Right.
I don't think it's sugar. I mean, I don't know.
Right. It's the tannins, right?
There's something, some kind of preservative or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's just, you know what it is? I just don't like Katie. I don't really like anything she says because I don't think anything she says is genuine. And I don't think she's trying to build real friendships or relationships. I think that she's trying to
make a mark.
Yes. And I don't like that. I don't like people that come in hot.
Nope.
I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it.
It doesn't stick.
Right.
Like, people liked Rachel and Danielle on Jersey. I think Danielle had a rough first season because we all kind of saw how Teresa and Jennifer were manipulating her to get that story out about Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
She redeemed herself. But I think they both left that first season not trying too hard. And that's why people liked them.
Right.
And Anne Marie, whatever, on Beverly Hills tried way too hard. Remember Noella on OC?
Yes.
I mean, talk about trying too hard,
Yes.
And Katie's definitely, I don't think she's as bad as either one of them, but I think she's coming in too hot.
I do too.
Just to slow it down. And
then we see Tamara's trying to stir the pot with Katie and Gina because Katie's still saying that, Gina really let her down, and
Tamara's definitely stirring that pot.
Yeah.
She left you out to dry, she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah. And then Tamara gets Jen to do OnlyFans.
Yes. And the apple pie, I mean, I don't even know. I've never heard of such a thing. And then Tamara sucks her toes with the apple pie on it.
Yeah,
Ew.
I think Tamara wants to be on OnlyFans, and this was her introduction.
I think so too.
Yeah. Listen, that's not my gig, but I'm sure it's somebody's, and have at it. But I think Tamara orchestrated that so that she could be on OnlyFans.
I'm surprised Jen did it.
How much money can be generated from it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Especially because, Jen's got kids like our kids' ages and younger.
Yes.
Like my kids would be like, you did what? Like, the hell are you doing?
Exactly. And, on Watch What Happens Live, Shannon did say, because Andy asked her about Jen's settlement. So I guess Jen finally got her settlement.
Oh, divorce settlement?
Yeah, and she said,
Okay.
I think she said 350, and
350,000?
yeah, and I guess that's because they owned a house together, and it was a half of the house. I don't know. That doesn't really seem like that much,
That doesn't sound
especially.
like a lot for that.
I mean, I would imagine there's child support involved too, but I don't know.
Yeah, like, is it 350 a year?
I don't know.
I don't believe a thing that comes out of Tamara's mouth anyway.
I really don't either.
No.
And then Alexis says, they say something, and Alexis says, don't bring up the S word, meaning Shannon. And Jen says, when are you going to get over this? Like Alexis
Right.
says, yeah, it will stop. She goes, does she want me to pull out the videos? And Jen's like, why are you doing this? She's like, I have videos. Does she want me to pull out the videos? I'm tired of her bad mouthing, John.
So basically, John took a video of Shannon the night she got her DUI. So clearly she was very drunk.
Right.
And she made a mistake and she's paying for it, but he's holding videos hostage. Fuck him. If I were Shannon, I'd be like, post the videos. I was drunk. I've admit to being drunk. I drove. I got arrested.
Right.
I'm paying my dues. Show the damn video.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's another thing she talked about on Sheena's podcast, is that she is remorseful. She is still remorseful to this day. She said, at the time I was almost 60 years old, and, I'd never done this before. I'd never broken a bone. I'd never been in a car accident. And, I don't want my kids to see. She goes, I'm humiliated. I'm still humiliated. She's very humbled about this experience. She doesn't take it lightly. I
totally think she is. Yeah, like I totally agree.
She doesn't take it lightly. And, she brings up again on the podcast about the lawsuit with John Jansen. And the reason he refused to take the money is because part of that is signing an agreement, a non-disparagement agreement. And he wouldn't do that.
Mean?
It's like, it's saying that you're not going to say disparaging things about the other person.
And he wouldn't sign that.
That's what he wouldn't sign.
That's very telling, isn't it?
And he's also now added fraud to his claim and is looking for punitive damages.
Fraud for what?
For, I guess, saying that she was going to pay him back and she didn't.
This guy's a piece of shit, man.
And like she brought up on a podcast, which makes sense. She's like, if he lent me money the first time and I didn't pay him back, then why would he lend me more money? She goes, it really wasn't. She goes, it was a gift. But if he wants the money, I'll give it back to him. That's why she offered it back to him, because she didn't want to have to go through the court. Right. But he refused to sign the document that he wouldn't say disparaging comments about her.
This guy is really something. He'll get what's coming to him, though. He will.
And I think that Heather's going to, not Heather, Shannon has the document from the first lawsuit with Jim Bellino that has Alexis's name on it. Because she said originally, that's why I'm mad at you. And she said, my name's not on the lawsuit. And Shannon said, well, your name is on the letter. And I believe she's going to come up with that letter. I think we're going to see that.
It's amazing to me. Think about the difference. I know, I'm sorry. I always bring it back to Jersey. But Jim Bellino sued Shannon and Tamara for what they said about him, right?
Right.
Look at what Teresa and Louie are doing to the people on the Jersey cast.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's suing them.
Jersey doesn't roll that way.
No, we don't. I was just going to say.
Jersey does not roll that way.
We don't.
We don't take it to the court.
No, we don't.
That's not how we roll.
We don't. No. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's just amazing the difference, right?
It is amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah. Did you have anything else about OC?
I did not.
I did just read, literally scrolling through my phone before we started this, Buying Beverly Hills got canceled after the second season.
Oh,
and people are very upset. Now, I watched the first season. I thought it was very staged, but whatever. It was, it was a knockoff Selling Sunset, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But people are very upset that it got canceled, especially, and people said like this seemed a little bit more real than Selling Sunset, because Selling Sunset's a little ridiculous.
Fake, yeah.
It's so fake.
It is
very
so fake.
Entertaining, but so fake. But yeah, it got canceled. And with the real estate market the way it is, especially, I mean, we're watching $1 Million Listing LA, and all they keep talking about is the market. But quite honestly, around here, houses are going for way more than what we think they're worth.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that that side of the country is, unless this was, unless it has bounced back since then. But I feel like since COVID around here has been booming.
Well, I think I think the difference is the houses in LA are high-end second houses, and we're talking about multiple $1 million homes. The
Yeah.
houses around here are people's everyday homes,
Yeah.
and it's a
Yeah.
lot of people that moved from up north to down south, and
Right.
up north is more expensive than down south, which is driving up the prices down south.
Yeah.
And when I say north and south, I'm just referring to New Jersey, like
Right.
North Jersey and South Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's maybe what the difference is.
Yeah. But
I
that
do
got
have
canceled.
other Bravo news.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch it, but the Vanderpump show that she had on Hulu, what was it called?
Vanderpump Villas.
Yes. So Bros raved about it. So that was renewed
Really?
they raved about it. It was
because
renewed.
Teddy said she couldn't get through it.
I think I'm going to try it because one, the Bros raved about it, and not that I, take their word for it, but I figured I will try it. But two, because it got renewed for a second season, and Stassi's going to be on it, and Stassi's getting a spinoff, and she's getting her own show. So not only is she going to be on Vanderpump Villa, she's going to get her own show, something
Really?
like Stassi Says or something like that. Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised Vanderpump Villa got a second season, but maybe this is why, because Stassi will be on it.
Yes.
I'll watch the Stassi show for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like you got to watch the first season to see what happened, so we know what the premise is of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I'm sure you heard about the dating show for who is it? Dorinda, Shannon, Luann. Who else?
There was one more.
Dorinda, Shannon, Luann. Why can't I think of the other one?
Not Ramona, right?
No, Ramona has a boyfriend.
Well, good for
and
her.
She's very happy with him. Yeah.
Good for her.
Anyway, whoever the other one is, there's going to be a dating show. And also Dorinda is getting a Bluestone Manor show.
I saw that too. Let's hope she's not drinking on either one of these shows.
Oh gosh, I hope not.
Yeah. She needs to, though not accusing her of anything, but she's better on TV when not drinking.
Yes, and she was at the baseball game, the softball game, the Mamadi's softball game that Dolores had the other day.
Yeah, everybody was there except Teresa and Melissa, and I was wondering why Melissa wasn't there because I knew they were back from Italy, but they were going to Boston that night.
Yes.
And I guess Teresa and Louie are still in Greece, or they're still on vacation from what I understand.
I think they might be in Turkey.
Yeah.
And so Jen Aiden is in Turkey also.
Oh, Jen Aiden wasn't there. See, I've already forgot about her.
Yes, she was in Turkey with Teresa and Louie.
Oh, she was?
Yep.
They're saying that she got fired.
Yep, that's what they're saying. We'll find out soon enough.
Did you see Frank Catania said that he heard that Teresa was asked to leave?
Yes.
So I think he's probably right. And I also, cousin Gina sent us that clip of somebody asking Gia, okay, Crystal Ball, are you going to be a housewife one day? And she says, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't be watching.
We'll have to just wait and see. Well, we know that she has that other show that's coming out.
Made in Manhattan. Good.
Making it in Manhattan.
Oh, is that what it is? Making it in Manhattan?
Yes.
Well, that's better because most of them weren't made in Manhattan.
Right. Yeah.
That's a better title.
Yes, it is. I agree. And
I don't want her on Housewives, though. I really, really don't want her on Housewives.
I don't either.
I did listen to Melissa and Joe.
I did too.
On Melissa's podcast. That was a great podcast. Marge on Two Teas in a Pod was great. And Marge on Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald was great.
Yes.
She was very forthcoming, very honest. You can tell. Listen, she's got grown kids who have careers. She does not want to talk about them, and she doesn't have to.
She doesn't mention their names, and she doesn't need to. And like she said, she has all the proof. Everyone's like, I haven't seen the police report. Well, you're not going to see the police report.
Yeah, that was interesting to me that the police report was filed. And obviously, famous people can have that done. Or we know a lot more about people, obviously,
Right.
So that was good. And Yeah, I think she was very forthcoming about everything.
I do
And I
too.
don't think she needs to talk about her kids. They're adults. I mean, I don't think anybody needs to, like I agree, like with when Simon and Tamara got divorced and Simon didn't want his kids on TV. Like I think you have that right.
Right.
You're choosing to do this show. The kids didn't choose to do the show. Like Melissa and Joe were lucky. Teresa was lucky. Their kids wanted to be a part of it. And, if your kids want to be a part of it and it's a family decision, fine. But,
Well, Teresa's one daughter, Gabriella, didn't want to be a part of it, and she
yeah,
still doesn't want to be a part of it.
yeah,
And, she's really not a part of it. She agreed to let them, show her packing up, but she specifically said, I don't want them at my school. I don't want this for,
right.
And she has all of her social media private. And honestly, I really feel like her mother should respect those wishes a little bit more and not
I
even
do too.
ask her to show that stuff because she doesn't want to do it.
I do
Just
too.
like, why are you asking her to do that? Like, she
Right.
doesn't want to do it.
The one scene last season where she was in and she was talking, when they were talking about how Joe and Melissa said they put food on their table, which we all knew what they really meant, but
Right.
she seemed very anxious during that scene. She seemed very uncomfortable during that.
Yeah.
But I believe, Margaret, that NBC and Bravo were 100% aware of the police report, and she did provide proof to them. And the other thing that Melissa said, because cousin Gina or you brought this up the other night, why didn't they discuss at the reunion, pseudo reunion, that Teresa and Jennifer were feeding the blogs with screeners and storylines?
Right.
And Melissa addressed that on her podcast and said, we did. It just wound up on the cutting floor. They didn't show it. And my personal opinion is they didn't show it because if they had, that's really forcing their hand to fire Teresa and Jennifer. Because if you show proof of that and don't get rid of her, don't get rid of Teresa, you're setting a precedent for the other franchises for people to keep doing this. Like they'd be forced to, they would have to get rid of her if they provided the proof on camera.
I mean, I also feel like, and I even said that when we discussed it, I said, I bet you they did discuss it and the producers cut it.
Yep.
Melissa also said there was a lot of other things that they talked about that we never got to see, like reactions to stuff. Like she's like, I wish I would have seen the reaction in the other room to certain things, but she didn't get to see it either because she wasn't in the other room.
She said, I wanted to see Jackie's reaction to her walking. Back. That was so funny.
We didn't see it either. We didn't see it either.
No. And when Teresa's room asked for espresso martinis and they were like, nope, no alcohol. I did not realize, but on Melissa's podcast, she says, she's like, I was drinking a martini. I was drinking a Cosmo. She's like, every time you see me, I'm taking a sip of a drink. I did not realize that. I heard them say no to the alcohol. I think I said it on when we were talking with cousin Gina the other night that they weren't allowed to drink, but the one room was.
That's hysterical.
That speaks volumes.
It sure does. It sure does.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Always wind up talking about Jersey. Sorry.
Me too. So I think what we're going to do is, since we don't have any more New Jersey, I think next week you and I will start with season 1. And we'll recap Old Jersey.
Yeah, and Lori.
From
Lori's
the beginning.
Watching it too.
Yeah, right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Since there's so many episodes, maybe we'll do like two episodes, an episode. You know what I mean? Like we'll recap 2 episodes at a time.
Probably like watch a couple and then go, run through them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Lori's already been through season 1 and she's into season 2.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start again because it's been so long since I've watched them.
I watch them when they're on reruns all the time. I really got to stop. It's so funny because my nephew wrote on Facebook yesterday, I can't think of a bigger useless way to spend your time than to argue on social media about politics.
It's so true.
I was talking to Tess about it today. I'm like, I cannot agree more. And I'm like, I should probably take that advice about Bravo. Like, I really got to stop commenting on everything. I really have to stop debating people on Bravo subjects. Kind of a useless waste of my time.
It is. It is. It is.
Yes, it is. I could just keep scrolling, as people say.
Yes. Yes, it's true.
So, yeah.
All right. Until next time, thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
Bye.
Bye.